Hi Tarot Tribe, it's Ethany. Today I am going to be sharing Avalon's tarot tag with you. I've seen a few people in the community do this. Sorry about the lighting, it's very glary off of here. It's probably going to be the longest video I've ever done. I tend to try and be like quick about it, being Queen of Swords, Knight of Swords-ish. So let's jump in. So this is Avalon's tarot tag, and a few other people that I follow in the tarot community have also done it, like Truth and Story and things like that. So I thought it'd be fun to do. Holy moly, there is a lot here. I'm going to jump through these really quickly. Some of them I may go through in more depth in the Tarot Cafe videos, but we'll see how we go, especially if I have a lot to say, because I don't want to have you here for hours. So let's look at the first one. Just move this over here. What initially drew you to the tarot and how old were you? So I'm going to pop all these questions below, and I'm also going to tag Avalon's video. So, and also tag Truth and Stories, because I'm not sure who else has done this. If you have, put in the comments below, because I would really love to see it. So, what initially drew me to tarot and how old was I? So I've actually done this. So I'll actually post this below my tarot story, which was a video I recently posted. My spiritual path initially drew me to tarot, and I was 15. So that's to give you an idea. So when did you acquire your first personal tarot deck? I acquired my first personal tarot deck, which was the Mythic Tarot, the original version, when I was 15, working in a beautiful shop called the Pickle Fairies and Other Myths in Fremantle, Western Australia. Are you a fan of the Rider-Waite-Smith or the Thoth system? I am a Rider-Waite-Smith bunny. I love that system. I have tried with the Thoth. I have a couple of Thoth-based decks, and I have the Thoth. I have got, I think, about 3 or 4 versions of the Thoth, because of course I do. But I find it, especially the original Thoth, I find it a little manic and heavily masculine. And that's not a bad thing to be heavily masculine. I just feel like it can be quite harsh. So I haven't really spent a lot of time with the Thoth, and I really ought to, but the Rider-Waite-Smith, maybe it's my affinity with Pixie, I don't know, but I just love that system. I have learnt that system and I teach that system, so that's me. What type of tarot reader are you? Amazeballs. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Tea is the lifeblood of the gods. I am an intuitive reader. I work with my spirit guides when I'm reading, so I am clairsentient, clairaudient, clairvoyant. Those are the 3 major clairs, and I'm also empathic. Did I say that one? I can't remember. I haven't had much sleep. So I get images, I hear things, I especially see things when I'm doing tarot readings. I have a wonderful relationship with my spirit guides, hence the reason why I, created the free training for it. I'm also very much, while I believe that the tarot can tell the future in regards to what is the most likely outcome and where is this energy most likely to keep going, or here are the choices you have and this may be what happens if you take these choices, I really feel like the biggest power in the tarot is for self-transformation, self-knowledge, and for healing. So if I just sit here sometimes, I think if everyone had a tool like tarot, I don't care what tool it is. I don't care if it's the Bible, if it's the tarot, I don't care what it is, if it's martial arts, whatever it is. But if everyone had a tool where they were forced to look at themselves and love and heal and forgive themselves and work on themselves constantly and go through the cycles and be supported through the cycles of life, I feel like the world would be just such an amazingly different place. So the tarot is that for me, and it is for a lot of people. Do I use tarot for pathworking, meditation, and manifestation? Yes to all of the above. I use it for absolutely everything. Do I do daily draws? Yes. At the moment I'm doing them with my Money Magic manifestation cards. and I'm soon going to be doing some more with my Prince and Amount Oracle. But yes, I do daily draws, no matter what it is, whether it's that or my tarot or something. I'm always taking the time to link in and tune into my guides and my intuition to see what I can learn for today and what's on the cards for my energy for the day and what maybe I need to work on. Do I utilize a tarot journal? And if so, what are the benefits? So I've done a sneak peek video of my tarot journals. It's also on the channel. I have got more notebooks full of tarot scribbles, doodles, readings, spread designs, because you know how much of a fiend I am for those. Yes, I have so many tarot journals. I have been journaling since I was 12. I stopped personally journaling everything down when my son was born last June, because ain't nobody got time for that with a newborn. Or if they do, I don't know how they did it, but I was also running a business. So yes, I think that it's amazing when you can look back and see how far you've grown, when you can see the cycles in your life. When you can express and allow for automatic writing. I just think there's so many benefits to having tarot journals. Would you consider yourself a tarot collector, or do you stay true to one and only? Well, let's not even finish that question, because we all know I'm a tarot collector. I've got a huge collection, but I use them. I don't use all of them. There are decks that I've gotten and I've gone, oh my goodness, I don't think I'm ever going to read with that. But yes, I'm a tarot. I am a tarot collector for sure, but I'm also a tarot reader and a teacher, so I feel like I can collect these things with a sense of, well, at least I'm using them. Not that there's anything wrong with just collecting something and having it. I'm all down for that too. How do I bond with a deck? I buy the deck dinner, I light some candles, and I joke. That would be probably a little weird. I spend time with it. So I minimally want to spend a couple of weeks, maximally want to spend a couple of months really getting to know a deck. When I first open up a tarot deck, and I've been doing a lot of unboxing videos lately, I do that. I go through the deck and I look at all the cards and take a moment. I'd love to say I could take time to journal all of them, but I just certainly do not. But I look at them all. I allow my inspiration to be triggered by them. I notice which ones I'm really drawn to and which ones I'm kind of maybe resisting a little bit. I do stalk tarot decks online, so I kind of have an idea of what they're like when I get them, but I love the surprises of not seeing every card. And then I read with them every day. I use them for readings, especially if I have an instant connection. I just work with them. I often have them by my bedside. I have them out at arm's reach so that I can always go to them if I have that intuitive hit to use them, or just to shuffle them. I love shuffling cards just as a meditative practice. I adore it. So yeah, lots of different ways, but I spend time with them for sure. And have them next to my bedside table and things like that is also really cool. Do you cleanse, bless, empower your decks? Yes. Full moon cleansing, smudging them, having crystals to remove their energy blocks. And again, these can be like one video like each. So if there's anything that you want me to expand on, please let me know and I'll add it to my list of things to have for the Tarot Cafe videos. So yes, I do. I've got a whole, I've got smudge and Santo Palo and Palo Santo, sorry. I smudge our house, our apartment. There's crystals. The full moon is always really great too to empower the decks. Reiki, I've done my level 2 Reiki. So there's lots of ways of doing cleansing your decks. Do I adhere to any tarot superstitions? If you mean you can't buy your own deck or that kind of jazz, then no. I think that's complete phooey. I don't really know too many other tarot superstitions. Someone tell me another one and I'll let you know. But I know I probably don't, because I'm all for like, well, whatever. Do whatever you want to do whatever you vibe with, and don't let anyone tell you what is the right way to do something. If it feels right to you, guess what? It's right for you. Some people do some things one way, some people do things the other way. I just wish that we would get over. I can't wait for like 10 years time when people are like, I've never even heard of this thing where you can't buy your own deck. And I know a few people have actually said that, so that's good. Do you integrate significator cards into your readings? For the Lenormand Oracle readings, yes, always, because that's a massive part of the Lenormand system. You activate the significator and you either leave it out or you shuffle it back into the deck, and then that holds a higher significance in regards to the proximity of the cards around it and the combinations. Whew. In my tarot readings, less likely to use a significator. There are obviously cards that I'm going to be on the lookout for during a specific reading, but I don't really use a significator such as asking for your star sign and putting that card out, that kind of thing, or asking for your date of birth and putting the card out. My tarot teacher does, Gail. What's up, Gail? And it works for many people. Just for me, I don't know, maybe I'm just lazy. But I just like having the whole deck in there and just infusing it. So yeah, yes for the Lenormand Oracle, not so much for the tarot. Do you prefer to use spreads or do you read freeform? Do you just go wild? Bit of both. So when I do a reading, I always start with a compass spread. And this is on one of the spreads that I talk about a lot in the Tarot Readers Academy Tarot Apprentice course. So this gives me an idea of what's going on around the situation or querent, and what's the driving forces. That's a really important spread for me, and I always do that to get an idea. A lot of the time then it will be freeform, or I design a reading. So if you purchased a reading from me, for example, online, I will 99% of the time create a custom spread for you, unless I've already created a spread of my own which fits into your situation. So I do a little bit of both. What is my tarot birth card? I did this the other day. I think it's the Emperor. Okay, so I'm an Emperor for Mary K. Grizz. Where is it? I'll have to find it. Her book. It's up there. The Who Are You in the Cards. My birth card in that, I'm the Emperor. My zodiac archetype for the court cards is the Knight of Swords, Gemini. My identifier, my personal identifier in the court is the Queen of Swords, so how I really feel like I am in life. And I'm just about to release the masterclass for the tarot court, and I go through all these archetypes and we find out which one you have. And then my major arcana, like in life, and we move through these, right? So in some ways I feel like I'm one area I'm a little bit further along, and then other areas I'm not. But I feel like I really went through this move between being the High Priestess and being the Empress. So I, for many years, my spiritual community was like my main thing, and I didn't have my own family. I was one of the only people I knew in my social circles of friends outside of the spiritual community, so like my school friends and things like that, who wasn't married and having children. So I was very much still in that High Priestess role. And then I moved away from my coven, which was a very hard decision to make, and moved away from my high school friends and moved back to Canada. And now I'm a mum, so now I do have a little boy, and I have moved fully into that Empress seat of power. So those, I think, would be my major cards. So what is your favourite tarot card? So I posted this one as well, and it was about the Eight of Pentacles, because that's about that really reminds me every day that life is a work in progress, and we are a work in progress, and at any time we can choose to put our energy wherever we want to, and that is incredibly powerful, because if we don't like the road we're on, we can always get off and find somewhere else. We can always do something else. We can always choose to look at things a certain way. We can always work on certain things. We can always work on ourselves. So that's a very powerful a very powerful card, and I love that card. I have many favorite cards though, but that in regards to holding a certain lesson and a certain space for myself is a really important one. And because again, I have a business, I have a tarot business, it's that whole consistency and tenacity and just keep on going and work on your craft every day. And yeah, that we're all apprentices to life and experience. So that's a beautiful card, I feel. Whew, we're halfway there nearly. What deck are you currently working with at present? I am currently working with the Fountain Tarot. Oh my lord, lovelies. I need to do my review of that today as well. Wow, what a deck. I was gifted this deck by the team at the Fountain Tarot. I hope they're going to be at the Tarot Readers Studio next year because I cannot wait to give them all a big squishy hug full of tarot love. It's such a beautiful deck. Words can't describe the beauty of this deck. The book is so well written. I'm going to gush about it. So I'm going to review it as well. So that'll be something else you'll find on the channel. So I'm currently working with the Fountain Tarot. My other workhorse is the Morgan Greer Tarot. That's my old trusty. I go to that one whenever I feel like coming home, I guess, because she's just read for so many so many of my clients and so many readings for me as well. So those are the two decks I guess I'm really working with a lot. And I'm working with the Connected and Free Oracle deck. So I usually have an Oracle deck that I'm working with as well as a tarot deck. And I work with my Prince Lenormand Oracle. So I've got a few decks in so my Lenormand deck, my Oracle deck, and my two tarot decks. Hope I didn't make that confusing. What is your favourite deck in this moment or in time? Oh my god, that's so hard. Don't make me choose. That's too hard. It's way too hard. But I'm probably going to say the Fountain Tarot because I'm currently enamoured with it. So the Fountain Tarot wins. What is your least favourite tarot deck? Okay, so this is probably gonna get shade thrown at me for this. I love to pieces some of the stuff in, well, okay, first of all, the Tarot of the Tattoo Age, and that jumped to me straight away. Some of the artwork in that deck is so beautiful, I can't even stand it. It is just so lovely, and other artwork in that deck, I'm just so stumped, and I love tattoo art. I'm working with Lana Zellner on her the Suits of Swords for her tarot deck, and that's tarot. It's done in the style of tattoo. So it's not that. It's just so freaking out there. And I have a review on my blog. Gosh, you can tell when you've had it up for years and you're like, what have I reviewed and what haven't I reviewed? Pretty sure I do. Some of them are just like, I think flat out ugly. I can't connect with them, so I think that's probably one of my least favourite tarot decks. I'm also going to say this one, which is also probably going to give you a little bit of Marseille tarot. I don't like it. I don't find it attractive at all. Maybe I'm just a snob who needs pretty things to be in her tarot, but I just can't. I just can't do it. But I didn't like the Rider-Waite for a long time, like the original Rider-Waite. I found that really harsh and bland and bleh. And now I love it. But the Marseille, I just can't do it. I don't know what to tell you guys. I just can't do it. What is your cheekiest deck? Probably the Bonefire Tarot. If anyone's got this deck, A, congratulations, you own an amazing tarot deck. Secondly, if you don't, go out and get it right now. Gabby West is amazing. We should be supporting independent decks, which is the next question. I love this deck. This deck is so freaking cheeky, but it's so deep. It is a beautiful deck. It's bright and vibrant and lovely. It gives you sass, and I like that. I am all about being quite sassy. So yeah, it'll give you something to think about for sure. Definitely the Bonfire Tarot in a really great way. Cheeky in a fantastic way, I'd like to say. Do I own any self-published decks? Yes, I own a lot of self-published decks. So there comes a time in every tarot collector's or tarot reader's career, if you do buy a lot of decks, where you simply run out of mainstream decks in regards to, you could buy them, but you're not really kind of into them all. So at the moment, for example, I have the Green Witch Tarot of the Green Witch by, oh gosh, I follow her, Kiri, I'm so sorry if I said your name wrong, and Anamora. And I found that deck through the artist, not through Anna, even though I've read her books in the past. I have that on pre-order, and that's that's going to be published through Llewellyn in September. So I do have decks that I go through like mainstream publishers, but then you get to the point where you become like a bit of a tarot connoisseur and you start looking for decks that not maybe everyone has and looking for different perspectives and outlooks. So some of my favorite tarot of all time are independent tarot decks. So, and then there's transitions like the Lion Strata Tarot. A lot of us got that on Indiegogo, and I love crowdfunding. Not only just because I've done it myself for my deck, my Prince Lenormand Oracle, but it helps people get their work out there and not have maybe the hurdles in place in sharing their work. We can directly go and support them in getting it printed, and it's not cheap to get these suckers printed, believe me. So we can help people bring those things to life, and that isn't such an incredible thing. I just think crowdfunding is amazing for creative projects. The Lion Strata is going to be published by Llewellyn probably next year. So that's amazing. So she was so popular on Indiegogo, and she has such a strong voice that no one has really done that before, that they picked her up, and I love Cielo. I'm sorry if I say your name wrong. A lot. I've been following her on Instagram for a very long time before even the Indiegogo campaign went live. So yes, I own lots of self-published decks. The Clover Tarot, which is freaking amazing, and that's another one of my go-to decks for readings, especially if there's people really are drawn to how vibrant, colourful, and very beautifully done it is. Like I said, the Fountain Tarot, the Spirit Speak Tarot, the Star Child Tarot, the Dark Goddess Tarot, the Liminal Tarot, I'm trying to think, Shadows of Oz Tarot, the 78 Tarot, the first one, and then the nautical one. Haha, I can't wait, I voted for that one. Yes. Freaking love Under the Sea. Under the sea. I want to be a mermaid. I still want to be a mermaid. I am a mermaid. Let me live in that fantasy. Yeah, so I've got those, the Light Grey Tarot. I think I own probably as many self-published decks that I do mainstream decks. That's how much I love collecting self-published decks, and I will pay the price to have them and have them in my collection, because they're just, not that mass-produced decks aren't as beautiful, I'm not saying that at all, I read with a ton of them. I just love, and I love connecting with the community. That's another thing. I am good friends now, thanks to the wonders of the internet and mostly Instagram, with some of the deck creators, because we've been talking and I've interviewed them and we shared our stories, and I've got to really know their process, and that's a beautiful thing when we get to share as creative community people and connect to each other too. So yeah, I'm a big fan of self-published decks. So what is your tarot pet peeve? Oh, well, I guess charlatans, right? That would probably be my biggest pet peeve. Those shady shitheads who are still out there. You will meet a tall, dark, handsome stranger. Come on. Are we not over this yet? Or like, I mean, I've had some dodgy ass people contact me in the past with some dodgy ass stuff. Just, you know, or people, okay, here's my other pet peeve. Oh my God, I'm very opinionated. So people who come for a tarot reading and don't really want to hear what you have to say. They just want you to either reassure them that that incredibly stupid thing that they're doing is a really good idea, or that their boyfriend is going to come back to them even though there's no chance in hell that he's going to. I've been there at fairs and had someone next to me reading for someone, and I've also been in this person's shoes, and the person continuously asks them the same question over and over and over again, as if they're going to get a different answer if they keep asking. And this woman is a constant professional and a good friend of mine in the community here in Vancouver. And she stuck to her guns, man. She was like, no, she did it in a loving, kind way, but she reiterated every single time that this was the message that he was supposed to be getting and he needed to hear it. And so, yeah, just people who, so either charlatans, go fuck off, sorry, but please do go F off because you're giving the rest of us a bad name. And people who come to readings and don't really want to hear what you have to hear. Don't book a reading with me if you ain't ready to hear your shit, because I'm going to tell you your shit. Because that's the whole point of it. Sorry, water break. You gotta keep hydrated. Do you believe that you can give yourself a tarot reading on a matter that you are heavily invested in? No, you can't. You can every day, but the question is heavily invested in and accuracy. No. If I had something that I'm heavily invested in, if my partner has something that he's heavily invested in, we always go to a tarot professional that we know and someone in the community that we know for a reading. You just can't do it. There are little parts in your brain and your energy and your subconsciousness that are going to give that big time, whether it's going, oh no, that card didn't mean to come out there. Let's just put that back in there and I'll just find it up. Oh look, the 6 of Wands, yay! Or you just aren't ready to hear it, so therefore just want to throw the deck out the window. Or if you're reading for someone you're really close to, and you can, I mean, I've done it before where I've read for people and I've known things were going to happen and I've just gone like, I can't do this for you, because I'm like, I'm not saying this is not my place, not my space, not my time. Some people may feel like if they get it, they're going to say it, but for me, I was like, no, this is privileged information, yes, but I have the choice of whether I tell this person this information or not. And I'm choosing, because I can see forward with my psychicness what's going to happen, the ripple effects if I do so. And that's not, power is great responsibility. Knowledge is great responsibility. So I'm just like, sometimes I've had to shut my mouth and say, look, you should probably go get a reading from somebody else. And then I can be there to help you when those messages do come out and you are ready to hear it. The other thing is that people who are very heavily invested with a relationship with you will often not hear what you have to say because they are already seeing you through a certain lens. Yeah. So they already think, if you're the sister, it's like, oh, she's the older sister, she always thinks she knows best. Or she's the younger sister, what does she know? Or, your love life is a mess. Why would you, be giving me advice about my love life? And that's not to say that the message still isn't true, because a cracked pipe can still deliver water. It's just that it's not going to be heard in the way it needs to. There's too much close proximity to each other, and history and things like that. So no, I don't think you can, and I don't think you can read for people who are super close to you about something of like heavy importance. So go and get a reading from someone you trust. Okay. Have you studied numerology, Kabbalah, astrology as part of your tarot studies? Yes, and yes. Those things, numerology, Kabbalah, and astrology, are huge houses of knowledge. And you can spend your lifetime studying any one of those. You can spend your lifetime studying the tarot as well. So I feel like it's something that I'm always going to be doing. I feel like I'm always going to be a student of the universe and always be learning and experiencing and then connecting my learnings through my experiences and having them marry in a beautiful cosmic kaboom. So yes, I have studied those things. I am not a master in any one of those things, but I am learning them, and the more I learn, the more I become comfortable and the more I can draw parallels between them all. And it really wasn't until I got the tarot that I could start to understand the Kabbalah properly. Before then, it was just a little bit over my head every time I tried. But now I have almost like it's the bridge for my knowledge for those two things. What are your opinions on tarot and divination? They're awesome. I guess what this question is saying, do I believe about predicting the future? I think I touched on this before. First of all, we all have choice. We all have personal responsibility. So while the tarot can tell you the most likely outcome that an energy is going towards, or options that you have for the future, or choices that you may face, ultimately the buck stops with you. Ultimately the buck stops with us. We need to take responsibility for our lives. And that's why I love the fact that I found the tarot through my spirituality, because being pagan, being a witch, the golden rule is that you are responsible for your shit and nobody else. Not the devil, not God, not the bitch down the street, not your id, nothing. You are responsible for everything that happens in your life, your choices, your reactions, all that sort of stuff. So I'm so glad I came to the tarot through that, because that was already in place for me before I started reading for people and before I really started connecting to the tarot. That's important, because I never ever said that there was anything but self-responsibility. It's just a reflection of where our energy is going and what the possibilities and things like that are. So yes, it can tell the most, what is the most likely to happen given the circumstances and the energy at that time, but everything changes when we make choices, and everything changes because that's just the way of life. Nothing sits still. So it is a good idea to give you the different points of view and the different angles and the different things for you to think about and to process, but ultimately it comes to you. So I think it works in both. You need both of those things to be to really read the tarot as a true diviner, I believe. Have I ever lost or damaged a tarot deck? Yes, I've lost a tarot deck. What did I buy recently? Oh yeah, the Tarot of the Sweet Twilight I lost. I really loved that deck. It's probably going to pop up somewhere, so I rebought that. But rarely do I lose or damage a deck. I haven't damaged one in a long time, thank God. I'm pretty clumsy, so one day I'm going to knock some tea over it, and I freaking hope to God it's not over one of my independent decks. Yes, I've lost decks before. I have a bunch of them. I've mentioned this before. I've got a bunch of them in storage in Australia, and I can't wait to get them here when we have a bigger space, so that I can make sure that everything is in my collection. I am pretty OCD. I don't have a spreadsheet with all of my decks, although I should one day, but I don't simply have time for that. But I know where everything goes. So I know what's in my shelf. I've got tarot everywhere. Like, it's freaking everywhere. There's tarot in there, there's tarot over there, there's everywhere. But I know where everything goes. So if I think something is missing, I will tend to go try and find it. That's my Virgo rising coming out. Have you ever inspired another to want to learn the tarot? Well, I certainly bloody hope so. Otherwise, I fail as a tarot teacher. One of the biggest compliments that I ever got in regards to this was in WA, if you're in Perth, Western Australia, and you're looking for a really cool community, and you're in the pagan community, or you're a spiritual person, and you're just feeling a little alone, or you want to get involved, look up the Combined Covens Social Club. You don't have to be in a coven. It's family friendly. These people are so lovely, warm and welcoming. I can't even begin to. My friend, she is a leader in the community and a celebrant, Tamara Lampard. She brought me to the first Combined Coven Spring Camp, and that forever changed my life. That weekend, the first weekend I ever went there, changed my life, because there was a deep sense of community, and there was a deep shift in me in regards to accepting that this was actually like the life that I really wanted to live. And so I used to go every year with my coven, and sometimes with myself before the coven was formed. And I do workshops often on the tarot. There was fates, and there's movie nights, and honestly, if you're in Perth, WA, and you haven't connected with these people, do it now. And so I was running a workshop on the tarot, and this one was about the tarot court, because it's a tricky one, and I packed out a little room, which first of all made me feel pretty good, and then afterwards it was such a good workshop, like one of those things where I wish at the time I'd recorded it, but it was such a great workshop. And at the end, a friend of mine from the community came up, this very lovely man came up to me and said, you know, I never really connected with the tarot, and I never really understood a lot of things. I've always seen it, but it's never been something that sat and resonated with me. But after that workshop, I want to do your course. I feel like I've connected finally with the tarot. I mean, that's a huge compliment, and that's what I aim to do, is to inspire people to connect to the tarot for themselves, and learn to find and be cool with different aspects of themselves, and read for themselves and others and help others. So a few more questions. If you're still with me, hi, how you doing? Do you use the tarot in conjunction with any other esoteric or divinationary tools? Yes, I do. I have a big oracle deck collection. I have a big Lenormand oracle deck collection. I have pendulums. I use the runes. I use casting stones. I love reading tea leaves, although I don't do that as much, but I love it. I'm pretty much down for any kind of divination and esoteric practices or esoteric tools. So yeah, I have a large collection of those things. I've even tried like scrying bowls, crystal balls, scrying mirrors. Like I feel like I've done a lot of that, especially through my interest in witchcraft. So yeah. What is a personal tarot no-no? Something that crosses the boundaries of your personal code of ethics. Oh my gosh, Avalon, you got some bloody questions. Well, obviously using the knowledge that you can get from a reading against somebody. So if someone was wanting to know how they could basically undercut a friend or a colleague, that shit ain't cool. Or another big thing, and this is is like knowing, you know, wanting to know what's going on in someone else's life that they have no permission to do so. But the biggest is like using any information to get the upper hand on somebody, and just asking dodgy, unethical questions. Like, I'm just like, no. Like, take a look at yourself. Why are you asking me these questions? You've got some work to do. Go away and come back, and then we'll sort this out. Often though, when I get people, because a lot of readings are about relationships and why things didn't work or whatever, and there's usually a wound there that needs healing. So I'll try to do that and focus it more around the person, rather than you know, what is my ex up to and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, just dodgy ethical questions. I've also done a video on tarot ethics as well, so I talk a little bit about that. And just being, like I was saying, just being a dodgy tarot reader, like, oh, I just can't, no. And then the last question, if you could give one piece of tarot advice to another, perhaps a beginner, what would it be? Oh, good question. Don't let anyone tell you shit. No, okay, that was probably a little bit harsh. Don't let anyone deter you from this path by being bullied out of the community, or feeling overwhelmed about how much there is to learn, or hearing conflicting advices and then just going, this is way too hard. Sit within your power, sit within your own seat of knowledge, and know what is right for you. Yeah, you just got to go with your gut. You got to go with what feels right. So anytime, and I say this all the time, anytime that you feel like you're coming away from center, come back and be like, does this feel right to me? Do I want to incorporate this in my practice? If so, yes. If not, then leave it. That's the best advice I can give. And learn everything. And this is the thing, when I learn something still now to this day, when I read a book or when I hear a podcast or I watch videos on YouTube or whatever, I take what resonates with me and I incorporate it and integrate it into my practice, and then I leave the rest. I do not need to take everything on. Just what inspires me, what triggers me, what brings me to a place of wanting to know more or spark something in me, I integrate that and then I leave the rest. And that's probably the best advice I can give to someone. Yeah, so that's my tarot tag. Holy dooly. Feel free to do this. I'll put the questions below, and thank you very much to Avalon and Truth and Story for leading me to this. I know Avalon did this ages ago, but it was kind of fun. And thanks for watching.